So, if you consider yourself sensitive to energy, showing up in your strongest, most empowered self might feel really challenging during times like these. And even if you do show up, are you able to communicate in a way that feels authentic and aligned? And are you able to take action in a way that feels aligned? So, in today's video, I wanted to share with you 5 tips to not only protecting your energy, but also cultivating your energy during I don't know what to call it, a political crisis. It could be any type of crisis, but really, if you're going through living in the United States today with a budding dictator and a crumbling constitutional crisis happening around us, then maybe you need today's video. So, hi, if we haven't met yet, my name's Anna Long-Stokes. I'm a energy-informed therapist and a clairvoyant. And I filmed today's video because, heck, I need it. I'm an empath. I'm an energy sensitive. And I had to go off Instagram for the last 3 months because once Trump took office, it was almost just too much for me to bear to uh, kind of hold my energy in the way I like to hold it, but also be a part of the world. And so I literally had to take 3 months to do a lot of meditating, do a lot of energy clearing, and finally get to the point where I can show back up and speak my truth in an aligned way about not only energy, but what I think is happening in the United States. And do so with confidence and do so with the I don't give a fuck care attitude, because it is time. If there ever was a time, now is a time. So if you are in the same boat as me and you are an empath, an intuitive, and energy sensitive, and you're feeling like everything is too much right now, this video is for you. Okay, so before we dive into the tips, I want to talk real quick about what energy is. When I talk about energy, what do I mean? So when I refer to energy, I'm talking about the life force that runs through us, around us, that is everything. The particles that make up everything in the world, including you. And I'm also talking about really more tactically, if you're an empath, the energy that moves through your body, through your system. As Einstein once said, everything is energy, and you are no exception. So the way I see it is that while everything is energy, we all have our own unique vibration and frequency of energy. Yes, if you are like me and you believe that we all came from one source, then yes, in that way, we are all one. But at the same time, here we are in these individual unique bodies, and everyone has a different vibration, a different frequency. And when you really learn to tap into your energy, what you'll likely find is that your unique energy vibration is what's going to feel best to you. And so the goal of energy clearing meditation is really to release any vibrations that aren't you or aren't in resonance with you, and to kind of cultivate more of your own energy, to take up more of your own energy filled with your vibration, with your unique frequency, so that you can feel your most aligned energetically. Okay, so with all that being said, here are my 5 tips for protecting and cultivating your energy during any crisis, but maybe during this political crisis we're in right now here in the US. Yeah, this might help. So, okay, here's my 4 tips. So, institute a daily or twice daily energy clearing practice. For me, this is an energy clearing meditation. I know that not everybody clears energy through meditation. Maybe your form of clearing energy is through exercise, singing, dancing, playing music. I believe if you're in touch with your energy, you probably know what cultivates your energy, what helps you clear what's not yours. For some people, it's walking in nature, walking out in the woods, walking on the beach. You might not consider yourself a full-blown clairvoyant, but I believe you are. If you're watching this video, you're in touch with your energy. So what helps you feel your best energetically? So again, if you know that, great. If you want to try to play with meditation and energy clearing meditation, maybe you could check out my free self-healing 101 little masterclass I did. It's my 2 favorite tools for kind of draining the energy from my space that's not mine, and then filling back in with my own unique life force. You can do this in 5-10 minutes, beginning of the day, morning of the day, life-changing. And this is something that I work with my therapy clients on, and they say, this is amazing. This is great. It's something I work with my energy work clients on. They say, this is amazing. This is great. So even people who believe they cannot meditate often have this picture or idea in their mind about what meditation is. Meditation doesn't have to just be sitting there in stillness and trying to, like, I don't know, lift out of your body and be this all-knowing, all-spiritual being. Really, at the end of the day, you can actually use your mind, that mind that won't shut up, and use it to help you navigate and move energy through your body. Your mind can actually help you with meditation. It doesn't have to feel like a hindrance. So if you haven't learned a more empathic energy style meditation, I encourage you to check out my free Self-Healing 101 class. I'll put a link down below in the description. So what I have found is that having a daily practice or twice daily meditation practice helps me to stay grounded in my truth, stay grounded in what is me and what is everyone around me. It's so easy in the world we live in with access to constant streams of news, media, friends' feeds, everything, to get confused about what's ours and what's not ours. Especially if you're an empath, I'm sure you can relate. So doing a daily practice just helps to ground you in yourself and reestablish that relationship with yourself so that when you start to get out of balance, you can come back to yourself and your own energy. So the second tip here is to own your anger rather than letting your anger own you. So if you're like many people in the United States right now, you've gone beyond being sad and you're freaking pissed, and you should be. So what do we do with that anger? How do we channel it in a healthy way? What I like to do, again, this goes back to my meditation practice, is actually to allow that anger to move through my energy channels. And then I allow my body to release everything that is getting triggered by that anger. Essentially, my process is to become more neutral. I'm not becoming neutral to the world around me in the way that's like, oh, I no longer care, everything's fine. I'm just regaining my ability to be in my own energy in a way that I can have control over myself so that I'm not doing things I regret. I am a spicy, fiery Sagittarius. And before I learned how to, navigate my energy body, I had a lot of anger issues, and they weren't always channeled in a healthy way. And when we are going through a constitutional and political crisis like this, it can be really easy to lose ourselves in that anger and say and do things that we can't take back. And not only that we can't take back, but that actually aren't that aren't going to move the movement forward, or that aren't going to bring you and the world around you into like the vibration that you want, if that makes sense. So find a way to channel your anger that feels really good. When I was 14, 15, I was at my angriest, and I found a kickboxing class. And in that kickboxing class, like, it changed my life. It was therapy. I tried therapy once. I know it's funny. I'm a therapist now. I tried therapy once, hated my therapist. To be fair, she wasn't a good one. I was like a little 14-year-old sassy cat. And I wasn't about to hear it. Some 40, 50-year-old tell me everything that was wrong with me. I had to go punch it out. I had to go kick it out. But luckily I did it with mitts and a bag. But I needed to get the energy of anger out of my body. And so I'm not saying that running anger through your body in a meditative, energetic way, like I have learned to do now that I'm 40, is going to be your vibe. But that's fine if that's not your vibe. Figure out how to get the anger out so that you can take back control, so that you know that the actions you take, the words you speak, are from a place of alignment. Because when we're angry, we have very little control over ourselves, and others kind of can control us. But that's a point coming up. Okay, so tip number 3, this kind of piggybacks off anger, is don't let others destabilize your energy field. Okay? And people destabilize your energy field by taking you really high or taking you really low. And when people take you out of your unique energy vibration in this way, you lose control, you lose your own personal power. And so people like to do this by insulting us. They like to do this by triggering our insecurities. All you have to do is go scroll through some Instagram posts or some YouTube comments to see that the way people try to play the power game with each other is through insults. And what do they want to do when they insult you? They don't just want to hurt you. They want to manipulate your energy. On an emotional way, you could look at this as hurt, but I'm looking at this from the energy perspective, is they are trying to control your energy. Because what ends up happening when someone ends up pissing you off or ends up making you sad? What do you end up doing? So someone says, you write a comment on a post and their response is, you're an ugly bitch. This is really common as a woman. P.S. This is how a lot of guys insult us, as if, our whole identities are wrapped up in how we look, and as if we care what some no-name ass licker on the internet thinks about the way we look. We don't, okay? Most of us don't. And if you do, I'm sorry. Work on that part of yourself. But right now, these people who are trying to emotionally throw you off, who are trying to energetically trigger you, it's just a control game. And the way to win it is to not play it. So don't sit there and spend hours thinking about how to respond. Maybe just don't respond. They don't deserve your response. They don't deserve your energy. They don't deserve your time. Your time is precious and your energy is precious. So when people bring you high, bring you low, energetically trigger you and throw you out of your space, that is just a game that they are playing. And the only way to not play the game with them is to not play the game with them. So that's my tip number 3 is don't engage, don't play the game, and be aware now when it happens. And I'm aware of it because I'll feel a flush of energy. It'll it'll come up from my first chakra, my second chakra. I'll feel the heat come up through my body. And I'll be like, oh, I need to show this person who's boss. No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't have to do anything. I get to continue to go about my day, checking off my to-do list, figuring out how I'm going to continue to be the best, most aligned person I can be, and to help create the best, most aligned world so that I can live in a world that feels in alignment with me. Okay, so tip number 4 is to release the need to be understood by others and release the need to understand others. So I'll say that again, release the need to be understood and release the need to understand others. So here's the way I think about it. Yes, we came here to have a communal experience. Like we came here, I'm not denying community, but at the same time, I believe that on a soul level, we also came here, like Carl Jung will talk about it, for an individuation process. So I look at this as energetic individuation. Like you came here to figure out who you are. And in that process, your path will likely look different from someone else's. And so the more time you spend your energy trying to figure out why someone thinks things that you think are wrong, why don't you just live your life? The people who you think are naive are not going to be swayed by discussion with others, generally speaking. I'm not saying people can't change. I know you're seeing this right now. We're all seeing this online. A lot of people who are MAGA to the core are now saying, I made a mistake. People can change. People can see where they went wrong. It's actually funny. Side note, my grandfather, RIP, passed away a couple years ago. He was a big Trump supporter. We always fought about politics. In his last week alive, when he was kind of in that space of coming in and out of his body, having his spiritual experience, having his body experience, he came back and he said to one of his caretakers in my family, like he was kind of describing having done a little bit of a life review. That was his memory. And he said, I think I voted for the wrong person in the last election. He had voted for Trump. So just a little side note there. People will have their realization. It might be tomorrow. It might be, it might be through some way that we can't make sense of. A lot of people change. I see this in therapy. I can talk about things telling blue in the face, trying to get someone to understand maybe a different approach to their thinking. Uh, and it takes them seeing a quote on Instagram, and that's the thing that flips for them. And they're like, so I thought about this. And I'm like, well, that's what I've been trying to say for like 6 months. But all they needed was to see a quote on Instagram or to hear a song. Like, they will have their growth or their awakening or their, whatever they are here to have, they will have that in due time. And it might be when they die and they're doing their life review. I fully believe that some people maybe won't have that aha in this life, but they will have that. And I know this is controversial, but I also believe that karma exists, past lives exist, and that we have a life path. So when we incarnate into this life, there is maybe some karma we're actually looking to create, some experiences we're looking to have, and then there's karmas we're looking to clear. This happens on an individual level and on a group level. So the less time I personally spend trying to figure out why some people are just so seemingly fucked up, the more energy I have for myself. And also, back to what I was saying at the beginning of this tip, you do not need to try to waste your time and energy getting others to understand you. The very people you likely seek the most validation and understanding from are likely the ones who aren't going to get it. And that's why you have that like internal drive to get them to see, to get them to understand. I see this. I almost wonder if it's like an animalistic trait within us, because my dog, Charlotte, little love of my life, she loves everyone. And the people she loves the most, or at least the people she seeks the most validation from, are those who ignore her. She's like, why are you ignoring me? She's like, you got to see how cute I am. Why don't you see how cute I am? She'll spend a lot of time trying to get the validation of those she's probably never going to get the validation of, because some people just don't like dogs, and that's okay. We can't be friends, but that's okay. My fifth tip here is to become conscious of your energy as a living, evolving part of yourself, and avoid or limit the things that drain it. And in addition, maybe take a minute to learn how to cultivate this part of yourself. We live in a society where people are obsessed with the cultivation of our physical bodies. And then right below that is the obsession with the mental aspect of ourselves, being, validated or finding our self-worth through education and degrees. And I'm not saying that's not valuable, but is that more valuable than your energy? And then below that, so we have obsession with physical, obsession with mental, we have obsession with emotional, the emotional space. And this is newer. We're seeing this in the world where people are talking about emotions, feelings, therapy's a thing. And while I validate that, I also feel that on the most hand, people are entirely and completely ignoring the energy of themselves. And so, I don't know, I like to think of myself as on the cutting edge of helping people to observe their energy, learn to work with it, and see it as like a living, breathing part of yourself that you can work on. Not as like a self-improvement project, but as the foundation of everything else. To me, energy is the foundation. If we're looking at a triangle, energy is the foundation. If your energy is flopped, out of whack, chipped, whatever, however you look at it, then everything else piling on top of it, the emotional part of you, the mental part of you, the physical part of you, it's going to struggle. It's not going to be as strong. So the energy, as Einstein said, again, energy is everything. And to me, it is the foundation of everything. And so maybe in this time of crisis, figure out, what is my energy? How does my energy feel to me? And, whatever process you go through to get there, you do you. But begin to communicate with your energy, just like you would. It's not like you would walk through life with like, oh, whoops, my hand got sliced off and I'm just going to walk around and ask no questions, not go to the doctor. You're going to bleed out if that happens. But like all the time, people have just completely cut themselves off from having communication with their energy, with very dire consequences, if you ask me. Because how are you going to know what you're here to do, be on your path, live your best life, if you're totally out of touch with your energy. I don't think it's possible, but hey, that's just me. Okay, so that's all I got for you today. I am a new channel, so please, please, please like and subscribe if you want to continue the conversation. And if there's anything you want to share, go ahead and do so in the comments. And if you're a hater, yeah, I'm just going to ignore you because you're not worth my time and my energy. All right, see you later. Bye.